right, guys. Really proud of this group. It's been a really fun group that's kind of come together over the last few months. We obviously have some tough decisions to make over the next handful of days. But there is some things that are starting to come into clarity for us. Feel good about this group. We'll hopefully get some guys back, from injury that have been out the last couple weeks over these next 2 weeks getting ready for Detroit. And we're certainly excited, but more than anything, grateful for the group of men and the efforts, the way that they worked and the consistency at which they worked. And I think there was major progress throughout the offseason and then into training camp.
In terms of clarity, you spoke about one of the things you mentioned pregame on the broadcast was Stetson Bennett getting QB2.
Yep. I think he did a good job, Stu. I think, he got a body of work in terms of both of those games going from wire to wire. I think he's done really well in some of the practice settings. And when you do look at it, you're obviously very fortunate to have Jimmy that'll be coming back, on week 3. But he's done enough that we feel good about him for those first couple weeks.
And then along the same lines, Les on the broadcast also mentioned that Omar Spates has made the 53.
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of along the same lines, what have you seen from him?
Just a guy that's come in and, I've mentioned to you guys before, I think a handful of these rookies, the best way you can describe them, mature men. And that's what he is. He got better and better. He's got the ability to contribute, defensively, but also on special teams. And he'll have a major role on special teams. He's really done a great job with Chase, Chili, and Stretch of earning their trust. And I think he's gotten better and better in these games that you saw. Obviously, he didn't play today, but the previous 2 games, you felt him out there. And he was able to have good communication, thought he was productive in the run and defending the pass, concept recognition. Excited about him. He did a really good job throughout camp. Yeah, I was happy for him. I thought it was great on the first touchdown drive, Kurt, to be able to start off with a completion. He got into a rhythm, made a couple plays with his legs right there, and then we were able to punch it in. So I was really happy for Dresser. He's been a guy that's been just such a great guy to be around. I know the quarterbacks love him. Dave Ragone and Mike LaFleur, they think so highly of him, and I certainly have really enjoyed being around him over these last couple years as well. I think he's gotten better. I thought he did a nice job today. Yeah, we have a pretty good idea. There's always a couple little things in regard to, all right, you're 53, then you're 48. There's some semantics in terms of maybe some injuries and being able to navigate that within the confines of how everything is structured. But we do have a pretty good idea of what that's going to look like.
With Alaric suspended and Garoppolo, does that change? Does that help you?
Well, it helps you get a couple extra spots that you wouldn't get otherwise. Obviously you'd want those guys to be available. We anticipate those guys being factors for our football team, and they'll be back, in week 3. But in the meantime, it does give us, 2 extra spots that we'll look at, and it's a good thing. I do feel really good about this team. I'm excited to be able to get back some of those guys that have missed some time due to injury, and I think that'll be a real, benefit for our football team where those guys will give us a good lift. I thought he did a really good job. I thought that was a big third down conversion that he had. Little option route. He took the outbreak, ended up creating after the catch. He had a handful of jet sweeps today. Even the one punt return where he ended up winning to the sideline. You could see he's fielded the ball well. He's made good decisions. He's another guy. I think the consistent thing I'm seeing is all these guys have progressed. You look at him from last year to this year. It's awesome to see the growth, the maturation. His teammates love him. He was a captain today for the game, and I was really pleased with Xavier. Yeah. I thought that was great for him, especially being back at home. I thought he ran hard, leveled off some of those runs. I thought we were able to get pretty good removal on some of those drives. Obviously, we came up short on the 2-point play, Stu, but the guys were able to really get good knockback, reset the line of scrimmage, and I thought he was able to press it outside in one gap at a time, and he ended up really doing a nice job as a slash runner today.
And then as you guys have these conversations and get the roster trimmed down, how do you handle that process as far as feedback and the way that conversation goes with those players?
Yeah, just appreciation. I think the most important thing when you go through this, these are never easy conversations, especially when it means a guy's not going to be here, but you want to give them honest feedback. If you care about them enough, and I think there's an empathy, there's a love, but there's an honesty that they deserve, so that when they do move forward, if it ends up not being here, what are those things that can help them change the narrative and get an opportunity? And I just said that in the locker room. There's going to be some tough decisions because that's the truth. What's nice about expanding your practice squad, I do look at it as, we'll really have 67 guys, on our football team. Even if a guy might not be on that active roster, but he's on the practice squad, I see those guys as still part of this football team. So you'll see a lot of these guys that will still be here, and there'll be a handful that'll be tough to be able to part ways with, but they've been awesome, and they're a part of this team as well.